Hello, hello, my lovely Year 4 artists. We're carrying on with our textiles project where we're going to be doing some weaving today. We're going to take inspiration from lots of textile artists, starting with Ibrahim Mahama. He is a Ghanaian artist and he creates incredible artworks using traditional West African fabrics, which are incredibly colourful and diverse. And he uses those to make gigantic wall sculptures and wall hangings. Artist we've been looking at is Faig Ahmed from Azerbaijan, and he is really inspired by traditional rug making and designs, but uses them in really interesting ways, modernising them with computer glitches. And our final inspiration for this work we're doing today is Michael-Brennand-Wood. He's a local artist born in Bury, and he trained at the art school here in Manchester. And we're going to take his ideas that he does with really interesting weavings, with interesting materials, and we're going to create a weaving of our own. And we're going to create a weaving which is about weaving together different fabrics from around the world, thinking about multicultural Britain. So we're going to start off with some materials here. We've got some black card. We've got a flag. This is going to make part of our weaving. The British flag, the Union Jack, and then we've got beautiful fabrics from around the world. This is Guyanan, this is an example of Pakistani, Azerbaijan. We've got some Japanese fabric here, all sorts of lovely fabrics, Romanian. What have we got next? Chinese, that's a lovely one. Gorgeous. And here we've got some beautiful Palestinian fabrics as well. So we've got represented lots of different ethnicities and countries, and we're going to add them all together to make a weaving. We're going to bring them together. We're going to add them to the Union Jack to show that our country is made up of people from all around the world. So we're going to start this by just making a line at the top of the flag, about the width of the ruler. Just so we've got a bit of a border. You're then going to cut around the outside of the flag. It's not just a photocopy print, it's an actual flag, which is nice because obviously that's made of fabric and this is a textiles project. So I'm just cutting the border off there, as you can see. We don't need that bit, and I'm following the shape rather than doing it really straight. I'm following the slight distortion in the flag, which is nice. And now I'm going to cut lines up, but only up to that line that we drew. That's our margin. That's going to really help us. And the lines that we're going to cut can be straight, they can be wonky, they can be zigzag, they can be curved, but you're probably going to want between 7 and probably 9, 7 to 10 strips cut into there. And this is going to make up the major part of our weaving. So when you have weaving, you have 2 threads. One goes one way and the other goes the other way. So we have one that goes up and down called the waft, and this is what's going to be our waft. And then we're going to have threads that go across called the weave, and in that case it's going to be strips of paper cut from all the different fabrics from all countries from around the world. So as you see, the first few I did this were completely straight, and now I'm doing some slightly curved lines as well, just to show you that that's perfectly possible. I think we'll just do one more line in here. So yeah, probably 7 or 8 strips in all. Something like that will be a good amount to do. And then what you're going to do is you're going to mount this onto your piece of cardboard, and this is going to hold it all nicely in position. So what we do is we just fold over where we drew our line, and that's making our little margin, and we fold that over the top of our piece of card and tape it down. And we want to make this nice and secure, so you want to make sure you've got several pieces of tape on there and it's not going to move about. So now we have that finished, we're ready to move on and actually start doing some weaving. So for this we need to start cutting up some of our fabrics, or rather our photocopies of fabrics. Just trim off the white bit at the end, but I want you to keep the white bits at the edges there. That's going to actually help us later. And you want to cut a few strips of each one really. So again, I'm getting rid of the bottom bit, and then I'm cutting some, I think that was Japanese, some Pakistani, some Azerbaijani, some, I think, oh, that was the West African, yeah. Okay, so now we're ready to actually start weaving. Now we've got some strips. So some of you might have done weaving before, and it's quite easy once you get the hang of it. So even if you haven't tried it before, I think you'll be okay. So basically you pick up your strip of paper that you want to weave, and as you can see, I've gone over the first strip, under the second, over the next, and it's a matter of going under, over, and then swapping round. So I started by going over on this top strip. So the next strip I'm going to weave through, but this time, instead of going over the top of the first one, I'm going to go underneath. Okay, that's really important. You've got to do that every time. You've got to switch backwards and forwards. So if you go over for the first one, the next time you put another row on, you have to go under, and then you swap back again to over. So just have a play with this. Give each other some support, because some of you will have done something like this before and others won't. When you get another line in, push it up so it goes as far as it can, and then you just start building up your weaving. So the important thing is, if you went over on the first one, the next row you start under, and you keep going along like that until you've finished all of your weaving. It's marked where my weaving comes to at the bottom of my page there, and I'm going to just carefully lift it up and fold it over and add some glue to where I put those marks. So just above those marks, that tells me where the bottom of my weaving is. I've just rolled a bit of glue along, and now I'm just positioning it back in place, and that's enough to hold it in position. You need to sign your work and show it to each other. I'm really looking forward to seeing all your fabulous weaving. So next half term we'll be carrying on working as artists on our textiles project. I hope you've had some fun and found some interesting new techniques. Bye!